Welcome to the DETV Small Business Innovation Podcast. Today's episode is very important. And here on the podcast, we talk to entrepreneurs about how they got started, where they are, but this one is a little different. This one hits home. We're going to talk about his business, but we're also going to talk about the importance of why you need his business, right? All right, so today, we found out that 1 out of 8 people suffer from this. And if you're a business owner, and if you're overweight, or even if you're underweight, right, and you're not obese, you can suffer from it too. So we're going to talk about the misconceptions, the science, and the way to get help and get treated, and hopefully that it can evaporate from your system. Today, I have the owner of Del Sleep here in the plaza, Lyron Deputy, to talk to you about this disease called sleep apnea. How are you, bro?
Doing okay.
All right. Welcome to the plaza.
Thank you.
All right, so Lyron, tell for the people that don't know you, I've known you personally for around about 5 years now.
5+.
And what they say, I'm not just a client, right?
Yeah.
I am definitely, for the last 5 years, I suffered, and maybe even longer than that, I suffered with sleep apnea, and you have been taking great care of me, allowing me to wake up the next day and start my day. Can you tell people a little bit about Lyron and Del Sleep?
So I've been in Delaware. I've been born and raised in Delaware, Dover, Delaware, class of 94, Dover High.
Okay.
Was a business major, and I was going to be in business, and ended up going into nursing because I felt a calling to be able to take care of people. Ironically, as back in the day when I was working, I had to work night shift. And at that time, I would notice a lot of patients post-surgery would have these episodes where they're gasping in their sleep, and I would have to call the doctor because their heart rate dropped and oxygen dropped, and the doctor would say, Lyron, this person probably has sleep apnea. Just write a consult, I'll send them to the sleep lab. I was doing this probably more than 10 times a week. And me and a couple friends were out having a drink, and we were talking about the prevalency of it.
Right.
And what kind of shocked me was the fact, as you mentioned, a lot of people go undiagnosed, but what even shocked me more at the time, there was no labs that could service it.
Right.
So at that time in 2004, me and several other people developed Delmarva Sleep Diagnostics, which became Delaware Sleep Disorder Centers. And since then, we now have 7 centers across the state of Delaware, and we service a lot of patients that that are undiagnosed, that get diagnosed through our centers. Oh,
well, I love it. And again, thank you. Very, very important. I was one of those patients that came, and my doctor was like, hey, you might need to go get tested for sleep apnea. And by that time, I gained some weight, became diabetic during COVID, and I talked to you a little bit about it, and you was like, no, come in and just do a test.
Yeah.
Where I was I really didn't understand what sleep apnea was, right? And probably a lot of people at home right now don't know what it is. So we want to take some time today to talk about it and the misconceptions, right?
Yes.
What are some of the misconceptions that you're hearing about that's out there floating around?
First big misconception is because it says sleep, people think they sleep fine. Okay, so that's the big thing. They think they sleep fine. And the reality is that we really don't know if we sleep fine or not because we measure it based upon the amount of sleep we get. But we don't understand with this disorder, we can't really see it, and sometimes we don't feel it. It's usually a loved one or somebody else that notices it that lets us aware that this is going on.
Yeah. And when you mean let us know, it's like, yo, wake up.
No, it's more like you're snoring.
Right.
That's usually kind of what mostly I get with the bed partners that are sitting in my office. But what definitely is happening is that when you're sleeping, your airway relaxes, where it basically hinders you're able to breathe.
Yeah.
And that basically has your oxygen drop, which causes your brain to now try to put strain on your heart to try to get you to breathe. Hold
on. So what you're telling me, and just layman terms right here, is that when people with sleep apnea, they stop breathing. And I think mine was, when I first started, was it 166 times?
It was off the charts. I don't know the exact number.
It was crazy. I remember 166 per minute that I stopped.
Per hour.
Per hour that I stopped breathing.
Correct.
And without a machine.
Correct.
I could have not just died, like you said, oxygen to the brain could stop. And what effects does that do?
So it puts a lot of strain on the organs that lead to death, right? So basically you start seeing arrhythmias, you start seeing diabetes, you start seeing potential stroke. A lot of those things are the stuff that we see from the impacts of undiagnosed sleep apnea.
Are you serious? So a diagnosis of sleep apnea can lead to several different problems.
Yes, correct.
If that doesn't scare you right now, understanding that if you could fall asleep, and not the fact that you just don't wake up, but the fact that you can have a stroke,
Yes.
that you can
Heart attack.
a heart attack,
Yeah.
and those are something that without dying you will suffer.
Correct. It's a slow death, right? So,
Damn.
So that's definitely something that I try to tell people. But a lot of the things that people don't realize is that the breathing part, scares you. But the problem that's even worse is the disruption of sleep is what causes your cortisol levels to go up, which is high blood pressure, high stress. It increases appetite, which puts on the weight. Right? So these are all the things that you sit there and say to yourself, why is it happening? Because I'm getting older. Mm-hmm. It's not getting older, it's what you're not doing to your body, what you're not taking care of your body as you get older.
Yeah.
And that's part of why it's so important.
All right, so so we got we got some of the misconceptions of sleep apnea, and I want to talk about like how important is good sleep.
Very important. Listen, even though I'm in this field for 20 plus years, mm-hmm. I still am a victim of it myself. Working 9 to 5, even 24 hours a day, dealing with stuff that you deal with as a provider and a practice owner. You deprive yourself of sleep, and the more you do that is the more you put cognitive strain on your body because your concentration goes down, your memory starts having problems, and you can't focus. Yeah. So these are things that obviously, as you're dealing with day-to-day decisions, you need to be at your best to be able to do that. And that's why the recommended for adults is 7 to 9 hours. And a lot of times people think they can just catch up on the weekend.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah,
that's what we
do. It doesn't work. It doesn't improve the quality. And what we have to do if we are not able to get the 7 to 9 is try to have consistent sleeping patterns and habits to be able to catch up on that lost sleep.
There's a phrase that's bounced around in the world, right, called sleep divorce.
Yes.
Right. What is sleep divorce?
It's very common. Very, very common. And, a lot of us may not realize this is what we're living in right now, is when bed partners are sleeping in separate bedrooms. Mm-hmm. And that is so common now.
Is it really?
I would say 60 to 70% of the people I see are in sleep divorce. Wow. And as you know, you get married to be together. The more you find ways not to be together, I think leads to other problems. And that's why we try to get people back into
get people back to sleep marriage. No, I get it. Like, okay, so for a woman, for a husband or wife, and this disease does not play favorites.
No. People think it's overweight. No, it basically goes with a lot of things that I think you should be able to be cognizant of. Is like, do you have a small jawline? Do you suffer from nasal related issues? Like you hear me, I'm talking very nasally right now. Do you snore? Those are all common things that you see with people that may not have the overweight factor that could be prone to sleep apnea.
So you can look at someone and say, you got it.
Yeah. For the most part.
Wow. Yeah. And that's the jaw that you said, that's the
jaw, if they breathe through their mouth and not their nose, those types of things. Yeah.
Okay, now let's get into treatment.
Yes.
Right. Let's talk about treatment. All right. They come and see you. People come and see you, right?
Or one of my colleagues.
Yeah. One of your colleagues at one of the offices. I know I did a sleep test.
Yes.
Right. So how does it go? They come and see you and walk me through that process.
We go through the questions. We obviously understand a little bit about motivation, why they're there. And then from that, we typically do a test. Usually it's in the privacy of your home.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they changed then.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And the question I ask, which gets a lot of couples in a little bit of confrontation, is I ask, does your bed partner snore? And of course, the answer is typically yes. Mm-hmm. So they both are snorers. And I say, for this moment, you have to sleep in a separate bedroom because when it's recording snoring, it can't tell if it's you or the bed partner. And I've seen a lot of people fighting who snored that night.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Once the results come back, then we sit down and we kind of find a treatment plan that works for you based upon your results. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the biggest misconception is that you got to wear this mask over your face and things like that. And the first thing I always ask patients when they walk in the door, I'll say, just like, I'll ask you, who picked out your shoes?
Right.
Who picked out your shoes?
Oh, with me.
Of course. That's what happens with the mask. You pick it out. I don't pick it out.
Okay.
And when you pick out shoes, what are you looking for?
So I have a nice little mask. My mask is so, and
right.
So I sleep with mine about 6 to 7 hours, right?
Yes.
Yeah. At first it took me years to like
grasp it.
Grasp it. Right now, I'm like, oh my God, I want my health. I want to live.
Right.
But I have this nice little mask that seals up everything, and then I'm
and you chose it. And at the end of the day, you went through the process. You tried on like you would choose. You try on different ones because you like the fit, you like the style, and then you end up with the one you like.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works with this.
Yeah.
But even if that is not the case, there are other types of therapies that we obviously are encompassing
Like
now.
what? You mean more other than a mask?
Yes.
Like what?
So there's mouth appliances that are done by dentists that have been trained to be able to create that. And what that does, it basically is molded to your jawline. And what it does is actually adjust it so that the opening stays open so it doesn't collapse when you're sleeping.
Wow. So if you don't need to use a CPAP, you can use that. Is there anything else other than?
Yeah, there's obviously people see the commercial about Inspire, which is an implantable same-day surgery device that's done by ENT.
What do you mean implantable?
Basically.
What do you mean implantable? Wait a minute, bro. You mean like Terminator implantable?
No, not Terminator implantable. It's very low invasive.
Okay.
It's same-day surgery.
Okay.
And it's definitely something that you turn on and off. And what it does, it basically helps keep that airway open while you're asleep.
I don't think I'm keeping the CPAP.
Hey, listen, man.
To each his own.
To each his own is correct. You'd be surprised.
Okay, and what else is there? There's
some of these, as the big phase is going on with these weight loss medications.
I saw that.
There's one now that has specifically been approved for sleep apnea.
Get out. Which one is that?
It's called Zepbound.
Zepbound.
Yeah. So, and it's been very effective for patients that are on CPAP and they've lost the weight. Many of them have been retested and they don't need the CPAP anymore.
Okay. How about pillows and mattresses? Is that a thing now?
Yes.
Because I read that somewhere.
So there is. So there are positions. Some patients have positional apnea where elevation is a critical key. Depending on the type of apnea you have, there may be some pillows that can allow you to be able to stay off a certain position.
Okay.
That allow you to be able to utilize that instead of anything else.
All right. So for the people that's out there, that's having their partner is waking up, what would you tell them right now to look out for, right? Because some partners are waking up or sleep, right? And they're like, oh my God, I can't sleep at night, or they just started snoring. Like, what things would you say that they need to look out for?
The critical things I would say, which are pretty straightforward. The obvious is snoring, right? So I'll say that for last. But if you're having a lot of irritability, mood swings, those types of things, morning headaches, dry mouth, are very common things that many of us have. And then, of course, snoring would be things that I would say are red flags.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm just thinking about all the brothers I know that are that are big, right? That do that. And, I think the scary part, Lyron, is like one night, you might not be so lucky to wake up.
Very much.
And that's really common.
It's common that eventually one night you're not going to be yourself. And I see a lot of people that have said no to any treatment or anything, and then I see them now they're getting wheeled into a wheelchair, they've had a stroke, and now they're dependent on somebody else. So they don't completely die, but now they're to the point where they are not the same.
So this is completely preventable.
Very much.
And all they need to do is just
get assessed, and I think from that, my job that I've dedicated most of my life, if not all my life to, is finding something that works for you.
Yeah.
You obviously a big proponent of CPAP. I always tell patients, I have sleep apnea. I don't wear CPAP, I wear the appliance, and it works well for me. But I did try CPAP. So I did go through it, but because of my nasal problems, until I get that addressed, it definitely makes it challenging. So I do want to make sure that people understand we will find a treatment that will work for them.
So sleep apnea could come on at any time. Is that true?
Yeah, I've got people as young as 8 years old.
Get
sleep
out.
apnea. Yeah.
And then people that get older and then get it. And is there with people with asthma and sleep apnea, how is that? Is that a Molotov cocktail?
Definitely makes it very challenging because you obviously have challenges during some triggers that causes your asthma to flare up to be breathing then, and then of course at night, have the same things. It definitely puts a lot of pressure and strain on the body.
I think with now just hearing that, how important it is to get a good night's sleep, on how the stress that it puts on the oxygen dropping, right, and the oxygen not going to your brain, on how you literally can have a whole nother element happen while you're just resting.
Completely.
How does one balance, as entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs. As a matter of fact, let's talk about truck drivers. Where do you see it most, right? Like even truck drivers sleeping on the side of the road. Like, how important is that? And is there any type of I guess I don't want to say program or like something that they need to look out for? Because I think you talk to a lot of truck drivers.
A lot of people that are in high-risk professions or driving trucks. Obviously, the thing that I try to get to them, and not everybody has that, is to have a consistent schedule, right? Because that's usually important. Obviously, many of them, depending on what's going on, don't always have a consistent place to sleep. Some people, they sleep in the back of their truck, so you try to make that as comfortable as possible. But again, you kind of nailed it. We need to understand if they have sleep apnea, the fact that they have these erratic schedules, on top of having potentially this disorder. We need to make sure that we can keep them to where they are breathing, sleeping through the night, and at their best, because driving a truck nowadays with a lot of things that we, just not driving a truck, have to be aware of on the road can be challenging. Not as well as somebody who has an 18-wheeler, going down 95, so that's why it's so important for them to be able to have a consistent schedule and to be able to make sure they've been assessed and diagnosed.
Now this right here is for the people that have sleep apnea, right? And you have it too.
Yes.
Have you noticed, or can you talk a bit about when you don't use your mouthpiece? And like when I don't use my machine, the next day is when the spiral begins. You get sleepier during the day, you doze off, and that could literally be like the beginning to the end.
It's interesting because obviously, they used to always, remember when we were growing up, they say, you must have slept on the wrong side of the bed this morning.
Right.
But the wrong side was the side without your device, right?
Oh,
because now you're moody, you're, like you said, you're fatigued, and then you hit a point where you can't seem to think.
Yeah.
And that typically, when I don't wear it, usually around 1, 2 o'clock, I'm almost done,
I was telling people, if you don't need, go ahead.
I was going to say to you real quick, the thing that you should be able to try to think about doing, because people always think, are napping good or bad?
Right.
15 minutes before 3 p.m. is always a good thing to give you that burst of energy. But of course, with your CPAP. So,
okay. 15 minutes before 3 p.m.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Duly noted. Because I'm a master of car naps.
Yeah.
So.
And you got an extra CPAP now.
Yes. I love it. What is, okay. So I think we touched a lot. Is anything that we missed? Because, thank you. These damn watches.
Yeah.
And these wearable devices.
Yeah.
How much do they have an effect?
So it's positive and negatives, right? I think obviously, we talked about sleep and information overstimulation sometimes makes us prone for our mind not to relax.
Right.
So that's always one thing to always have, disconnects when you're getting ready to go to bed. But if you are wearing your watch and it's in sleep mode, which most of my watches are, because I have both the Apple and the Samsung.
Okay.
And they are able to.
I was wondering why you always had two watches on. Okay.
Data collection, always data collection.
I love it.
Because people come in and they want me to try to help them understand it. And that's the thing that I think has been great about it, is that people are becoming aware of things that they're not listening to you.
Right.
They're listening to these things, right?
Yes, true.
And that's where that leads to now more conversation, more explanation, and that leads to hopefully a diagnosis and then treatment. So otherwise wouldn't have come if they didn't get this information.
All right, so talk to me about this. So I wear an Apple Watch, and you have the Samsung and the Apple Watch.
Correct.
What are you looking for? What type of data are you looking for, or should we as patients be looking for?
So obviously, depending on the model and types of devices you have, many of them give you sometimes just how you're sleeping. It gives you quality of sleep. Mm-hmm. Again, this is more for consumers, not really FDA graded yet.
Right.
But I think eventually it'll start getting there. But ultimately, what it's going to do is give me some understanding of your sleep patterns, and it'll tell us a little bit about trends and tracking. Because unfortunately, when we do these testings, we only do one night. And that's not always a consistency of how our week is.
Yeah.
But this kind of gives me that information. But then if you look at it, what it does, it looks at some of the circulation and things in your body to basically kind of give me more information on if your oxygen dropping. Are they noticing snoring and those types of things? So depending on the model and the version you have, it does have some of that software enhancement to be able to give me some of that information.
So you can take the data from someone's wearable device and use it to for the betterment of them.
Get more objective information that can lead to, obviously, us getting a more formalized test.
Okay, all right. And again, people need to come talk to you. Any questions that you may have about sleep apnea, make sure they give you a call. How can they reach out to you?
So our website is www.dellsleep.com. Our number is 302-652-5109. One of our associates would be more than happy to work with you on it. I do want to plug in something that I didn't mention to you, but I think I need to mention to everybody else. Right now, we're doing a research study with Fitbit They're actually looking for people that may be high risk for sleep apnea. It's something that they can get, a person who's eligible can be able to receive compensation for it, but they're trying to validate their own wearable device to see how accurate it is to detecting sleep apnea.
And that's coming right through your office?
Correct.
Okay, so if you want to sign up, they could just reach out to you, tell them that they wanted to sign up and all that good stuff.
Correct, and like I said, if they meet the criteria, they'll get compensated for doing the test, and then they have the information to decide what they want to do.
All right, so I'll tell you what, that's your camera right there.
Yes.
You got 30 seconds, go.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about myself and Delaware Sleep Disorder Centers. I hope I relayed the message to everybody in the community watching that we are definitely a sleep company that is all about you and your health, and we can be able to help you and your bed partner stay in the bedroom.
I love it. I love it. Lyron, thank you so much, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right, you got to come back. You got to tell me what's going on. What's the next step with Del Sleep, and I'll make sure I keep my people aware of where my health is going, because my health journey is just starting to get better, and I want to make sure that if you're at home, if you're paying attention, like as you know, Big Ive has I'm type 2 diabetic and have sleep apnea. But every day is a great day to be present. So I want you to take control of your health, just like I'm taking control of mine, and just focus and be selfish for a moment. Be selfish for yourself, right? Because you need to be here, and you need to be here with every bit of understanding, but all your faculties, right? And 1 out of 8, that is a lot.
It is.
That is a lot, but you don't have to be that.
Correct, very much.
All right. Del Sleep, make sure you tell them Big Ive sent you in DETV. You saw it here first on DETV. Make sure you like, subscribe. But when this is all over, make sure you forgive yourself and love someone that needs to be loved.
Love it.
Be well.